Amongst the various other emerging technologies which have potential to disrupt the status quo, blockchain stands alone in its ability to provide individuals with an impenetrable system to conduct transactions between peers in a way that other disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence cannot. Today, I'll be talking about disruptive technologies with regard to blockchain and digital assets. First, we're going to go into the introduction of digital assets, then go into inception, case for disruption, product design, global impact, potential ramifications, and finally, an impact on economy and jobs. So, first things first, of course, you want to know what is blockchain, right? IBM describes it here: a shared immutable ledger that facilitates the process of recording transactions and tracking assets in a business network. An asset can be tangible or intangible. So, the primary concept of blockchain is that it enables decentralization, which mitigates the need of a central body of information. Peer to peer networks are used in a blockchain to ensure that data is distributed across several devices, which makes the data harder to hack or compromise at a single point of attack. In a hypothetical transaction, both users have a public and private key, which together combine to make a digital signature. The signature ensures that the user has an extremely unique digital identity, which reinforces authentication and secures digital transactions. Now, with each user having their own digital signature, transactions and data exchanges can be processed with an ultimate level of trust and security between both parties. The immutable nature of a blockchain ensures that previous transactions cannot be altered or manipulated by hackers in any way. To better understand this, we must look at the history of blockchain and how it has evolved over the years. So now we're going to go into the inception of blockchain. And so first, we're starting at the top. 2008, an anonymous individual known as Satoshi Nakamoto publicly released his white paper, which is a code or design structure for Bitcoin, which promised a decentralized and anonymous currency to facilitate transactions in a peer-to-peer network. As we go to 2014, we have the distinction between Bitcoin and blockchain. So the public perception of Bitcoin was that of mistrust and black market deals. Bitcoin had a reputation of helping facilitate payments on the black market for illegal activities in the dark web, such as organ harvesting, prostitution, and sales of firearms. So real dark web, black market stuff, just typical. As we go into 2013 to 2015, a Bitcoin rival named Ethereum came into the market and provided a way for contracts to be initiated and facilitated through the blockchain so that the terms and agreements would be met without any manipulation or interaction from a third party. And you can compare that against traditional escrow. So today, we're still awaiting government regulation in America to make certain that laws are properly in place for institutions to abide by. While governments are striving to regulate these digital markets, the economy will eventually catch up. So here's the case for disruption. Deloitte did a survey in 2018, but first, blockchain represents a highly promising case for disrupting the economy and several other facets of how we conduct our everyday business transactions. So 39% of respondents stated their company will invest $5 million or more into blockchain technology. 16% said they intended on investing above $10 million. 84% believe blockchain is a highly scalable and will eventually be adopted into mainstream tech. And blockchain remains a priority investment for many companies. So overall, company companies recognize the value that blockchain will bring to the table, and companies are eager to invest in the emerging technology in order to stay ahead of their competitors. So here we go into product design. You want to, make that clear, the difference between centralized and decentralized. So a centralized system has a primary authority or admin to dictate the data between users and a network. So we're talking about the data flow here. As you can see, only users who have permission are able to view the history of transactions. The difference here is with decentralized system has no primary authority to dictate data flow between users. Every user is able to access the history of transactions and confirm new transactions. So blockchain, just to clarify, is decentralized. Its decentralized structure is essential to propel its value proposition and to institutional investors and venture capitalists. So the global impact, that's amongst the most important for us. You want to know the big why and how it's going to affect us day to day. So mitigating the need for institutional intermediaries. A blockchain peer-to-peer network eliminates the need for people in underdeveloped countries to have access to large banks or institutions in order to exchange funds and or data. So currently, people who reside in underdeveloped countries are highly isolated and have to travel hours just to gain access to a bank and receive their funds. I mean, could you imagine? They do not have safe options to store and grow their money. So that, you can refer to even yourself if you were someone that decided to store their money, under their couch. That's just a safe of a relation that you can, really touch and relate to here. Blockchain will dramatically ease that pain and enable these individuals to have their own transactions amongst each other, creating a decentralized economy amongst peers. So that's why it's important for it to mitigate that need. Finally, we're going into the potential ramifications. So there is improper regulation and public uncertainty. So the current ramifications or implications for the use of blockchain revolve around government regulation. So just remember that. If governments around the world are able to regulate the markets and place laws around what people are able to do with blockchain, then we're likely headed in a positive direction. However, if government regulation is not initiated around the globe, then we'll be unable to unlock the full potential of blockchain. That's just what it is. And it's also necessary in order to spur innovation and spark value in markets and industries. We're going into our final slide called Potential Social Impact. So the graphic, as you can see here, depicts how blockchain will impact these different industries shown in the bar graphs on the right in a specific time frame. As you can see, 55% are estimated to have an end impact on the beneficiaries by early 2019. So we are past that now. Democracy and governance are projected to have the most immediate social impact, with energy, climate, and environment taking the longest at 2 or more years for an end impact on the beneficiaries.